Hello and a very warm welcome to a special broadcast here at News 9. We've been tracing developments from the 95th Academy Award that was held at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles. It's the Hollywood's biggest stage, and there's but one word on everybody's lips at this point in time. It is NAATU NAATU, because RRR, the film, India's nomination, has bagged the Oscar for the best original song in film. And that's not all. It's actually a 3-on-3 for Team India as it shines at Hollywood's biggest stage. Our short documentary nomination for The Elephant Whisperers has also bagged the Oscar. A little hard luck when it comes to the documentary feature over there, Krishna. All That Breathes.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Fantastic
really
documentary, much loved.
But the timing is suspect for the winner of that particular category. We're going to get into that as well. But a lot more has happened at the champagne carpet. Say, ever since 1961, for the first time, there's no red carpet. It's a champagne carpet. It was covered, keeping in mind the inclement weather and the amazing dresses and the bold fashion statements coming from all those superstars as well. Let's quickly take a look at some visuals and some applause that was coming from the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood when RRR's name was announced for the original song in film. Take a look at that. So Ram Charan and Junior NTR, those two names, just splendid performance. And that step, it has crossed various kinds of boundaries, mental boundaries, geographic boundaries. It is now quite literally a global phenomenon. Shot on the premises of the Ukraine's presidential palace. And now that particular movie and these scenes of that particular dance step all across the globe as well. But also visuals from inside the Dolby Theatre that we'll give to you as well. Take a look at those visuals. When everybody is clapping, you've got the lyricist, you've got the composer, all going on the stage and bagging that award. Take a look at those visuals as well. All right, and before that, we're also joined by our guest, Mayank Shekhar, who's a film critic, joins us on the broadcast. A warm welcome to you, Mayank. Mayank, what's going on in your mind? I mean, I know the social media is completely flooded. Twitter feed, it's all saying the same thing. Roar, RRR roars. It's a historic day at the Oscars. Everything is with a triple rolling of the R's. What's going on in your head?
Well, it is a historic moment. There is absolutely no doubt about it. It may be a small step in the sense that both the best song and the best short film documentary are not your hardcore top awards at the Academy, but it's a huge leap nonetheless. Because think about it, it's been 95 years of these awards that all of us across the world have so closely followed, and no Indian production has ever picked up the golden statuette. And this year, it's not one, but two Indian productions that have gone up to the stage and actually won the award. In terms of NAATU NAATU, of course, we saw it coming in the sense that the Oscars really are a culmination of an award season, and it was winning across the board, including the last win, which was at the Golden Globe. But when we watched the film last year when it came out of theaters, nobody, absolutely nobody could have imagined how far this movie would go in terms of capturing a global imagination, in terms of really shaking up the establishment in America when it comes to their popular cinema, in terms of creating fan circles and ensuring that a movie that people had watched in Japan or in America on Netflix, it actually got a theatrical release and is right here up at the biggest stage of global cinema.
Right. Mayank, this is Krishna. We are talking about shaking up the establishment. I want to talk about how a film like RRR and what it has done at the Oscars shakes up the establishment here in India. For the longest period of time, we've been thinking that when we want to win something at the Oscars, we should try to be more like them. We should make movies like the way Hollywood likes it. We should cut down on our own indulgence into song and dance sequences and steps. These are things that the intelligentsia of India who think they know what is better cinema, better art, have been trying to talk down to this for ages. I mean, let's face this. 20 years ago, if you're doing a movie review of a film like RRR, without all this Oscar buzz and Hollywood already giving it the appraisal, a reviewer sitting in Bombay or Delhi would have easily gone for it. And they're like, oh, this is nonsense, yeah? It is over, OTT, over the top and all that. Today, nobody worth their salt can say that against a film like RRR. I mean, talk about the way this shakes up the so-called movie intelligentsia establishment of India, Mayank.
Well, that's one way of putting it. But I don't know exactly which establishment we're talking about, because popular cinema has only one establishment, and that is genuinely validation from the public at large. And the beauty of RRR is that while it is very specific to our cinema in terms of the storytelling through dance and songs, which is really what makes our cinema unique, it was first loved by the people. Even when it comes to the Oscars, I think the biggest hurdle that's always been the case with movies that compete at the Oscars is, how do you get people who are voting members of the Academy to even view it, right? RRR did not face that issue purely because it went viral, as we've come to define, a word of mouth these days. And really, from Netflix to TikTok to YouTube to people dancing on this in the cinemas to this song, it was impossible for anyone in the US to ignore this phenomenon. All right. Now, I agree. Why only this? And we've been doing this so well for many, many years. I think the big issue has been also distribution. It's a Netflix effect. The fact that anyone in the world can watch a Korean drama or Squid Games or a Money Heist in Spanish, and likewise an Indian film, discover it and be blown by it.
My concern here is that we had an official entry to the Oscars from India, and we went to the film called Chhelo Show. Make no mistake, I'm sure Chhelo Show is a fantastic film, but this really makes us rethink as to what is the kind of film that you want to pick to make India shining at the global stage. We've always been constantly thinking about if I have a certain kind of art cinema, certain kind of cinema which a small jury watches. They know what the Oscar jury of 1,200 people will vote for. That myth is being broken. This was an independent entry. In fact, the America distributor of this film chose to want to go do this, and of course because the crew also wanted to do this. So it's an achievement in that sense, in terms of the mental barriers it breaks of what kind of art from India should be showcased on the world stage.
Well, I have to agree with you. The jury at the Film Federation of India, which is essentially a guild of producers, but there are multiple guilds of producers, mind you. This is one of them. They are given the mandate to send India's entry to the Oscars. And they've been getting it wrong for so many years that I think one needs to start questioning exactly what they base their judgment on. In the past, of course, even in the name of mainstream cinema, we've sent movies like Jeans, which is unwatchable, frankly speaking. And the last show, it may not, knock on the movie itself. It's a pretty decent film in its own right. But hey, anybody who's following the buzz around RRR would know this was a sure shot nomination. Why would you not pick it? I mean, it didn't happen overnight. It happened over months. So any jury that is deliberating on what should be India's entry to the Oscars should just send it. There's no discussion to be had. So that was a big miss. The fact that it was not nominated for Best International Picture, because that was there. I mean, you just need to capitalize on a buzz that already exists. You could have had 4 nominations this year, and which is not to say it would have necessarily won, but it would certainly have made it to the top 5, which the last show, made it at least to the short list, which is not so bad. It's certainly better than the previous years. But no, this was a miss.
Sent in for 14 of those nominations, 1 got selected. Of course, that particular point about at least having 4 or 5 nominations. Of course, international film went to All Is Quiet on the Western Front, which also bagged a lot of other major awards as well. But we were showcasing that picture of, M.M. Keeravani and Chandra Bose, the lyricist and the composer of NAATU NAATU. Let's quickly take a look at what the composer had to say, M.M. Keeravani, his words from the biggest stage at the Oscars. Take a look.
Chandra Bose originally earned a degree for electrical and electronics engineering before
Namaste.
Ready? Ooh! RRR!
Thank you, Academy. I grew up listening to the Carpenters, and now here I am with the Oscars. There was only one wish on my mind. RRR has to win, pride of every Indian, and must put me on the top of the world. Love you all. Thank you.
The only thing running in my mind now, present, is I have to go to India. I want to show this award to my wife and my children.
Thank you.
The composer and the lyricist. Man, I think M.M. Keeravani over there is echoing, along the lines of what you said about how RRR had to be there. It had to bag this award, and it finally has, hasn't it?
Mayank, if I may add to what Kabir was saying, don't you think it was like a champagne moment when Keeravani walked on stage and first says, I grew up listening to the Carpenters and I am here with the Oscars. What an amazing tribute. If they have given us a tribute, this was a tribute from a composer to an industry which makes such great music, which is the American music industry. To me, if it was a champagne carpet, that was a champagne moment of the entire Oscars.
Absolutely. I think that just shows how global we are getting. And it's something that the Academy Awards have also had to recognize over the past 7 to 8 years. I mean, if you remember Oscars So White, that movement, which was very inward looking, that led to a lot of new voting members into the Academy's fold. You can tell from the nominations, there's diversity in it. It's something that the world has kicked around the Academy Awards to understand and reflect. And that's what we're seeing. And here is M.M. Keeravani, who goes up and gives his own ode to the Carpenters, which is again from the West. We've been hugely inspired by the West. The West has been is now looking towards the East. That's how it's going to be. I think they've never been more closely integrated than in the past. And I think popular culture, cinema in particular, music, of course, has been a huge driver in that process. I mean, right after this conversation, I'm going to be on a French television station, and they want to know who is Keeravani. They want to know what is NAATU NAATU. I mean, it'll be interesting to explain to them how we have multiple movie industries, how Keeravani may not be Bollywood, but of course he's done Bollywood soundtracks too. But we have other nicknames, and technically speaking, comes from Hyderabad, that is called Tollywood film industry, and because we have multiple languages. I mean, it'll be interesting to share this with the world, and that is how certain pop cultures find their moment of glory, and this is ours.
Like, just quick question before you head off to that big delegation. There is NAATU NAATU, and we are going to discuss it for a very, very long time to come. But the fact that in a category like Best Documentary Short documentary, which most Indians don't follow, Kabir. Today, every Indian knows what is Best Documentary Short because Elephant Whisperers has won that award. I mean, that is you have to take India seriously more than just song and dance. That's India delivering a 1-2 punch at this year's Oscars. Yes, we're good at song and dance. Of course, the best song and dance will be ours. But hey, you want to make a great documentary, a nature documentary, call us.
And how it's done, how it's claimed for, we've got Kartikeyi and Guneet on the stage, giving us those hard-hitting stats and figures. I'm going to ask my producer to quickly play that and little crisp out before we take that answer from Mayank, because those are some hard-hitting statistics. Let's quickly take a look at that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I first want to say this is India's first ever film to win. And it's 2 women from a country of 1.4 billion. And this is India's first production to win. So very grateful for that. Thank you, Academy. Thank you, Netflix. And it means the world to us. And this is for Indian cinema. This is for my country.
Well, over to you, Mayank.
Mayank, we don't need to add anything more. First Indian film, not NAATU NAATU, not RRR. The first Indian film is actually The Elephant Whisperers.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's not even the first Indian film to be nominated. in documentaries. I think there's one big entertainment news that's happened over the past 3-4 years is really the non-fiction boom in India. Take a look at the top film festivals of the world, whether it's a Cannes or it's a Sundance, you will see Indian film competing, if not winning the top prize. In fact, in the documentary, we had the second nomination, which was All That Breathes. A lot of people are disappointed did not win. That's how good we've become with a genre that otherwise was mainly seen as an advocacy platform, as a genre for activism alone. But it's become hugely entertaining now, and we're telling our stories with all the truth that's possible. I must draw attention of people to Writing with Fire, which was Rintu Thomas and Sushmit Ghosh's film that was nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars last year. Right now, hey, we've not even seen that film yet. Why has it not dropped in any of the OTT platforms? It's about time that we did. I think we all would like to watch that film, and I've been wondering why it hasn't dropped yet. All That Breathes, I'm sure, will get live on an OTT. That's what streamers have also done. They've exposed us to newer genres, exposed us to documentary films. We're watching documentary series day in and day out. Some of them are fan films from India as well. So it's sort of blooded our palate to new ways of looking at cinema. It's not just song and dance that we do really well. It's also reality that nobody can beat us on.
Absolutely. Mayank and Krishna, both, pardon my French before we let Mayank go for that, that French show as well. We've got Praveen Gandhi, director and producer, who's with us on the broadcast as well. We're going to quickly come to you, Praveenji. But before we let you off, Mayank, could you also help us understand, there are so many controversies that also happened last year, so many articles that kept on flowing about ranging from the slap gate to the envelope gate. This time around, Jimmy Kimmel made sure there was a crisis management team that was put in place. He said it's all champagne carpet, and it goes on to show the confident level of the producers. There's going to be no bloodshed this time around. Any quirky tidbit that you picked up from today's telecast?
Well, I mean, it has to be pointed out that over the past many years now, sequentially, there's been a decline in the ratings for the Oscars. And even that Slapgate did not lead to more viewers. What they've done instead is play with the nominations a little better, so it doesn't seem like an OTT award, right? It's not a streamer award. So you have, for instance, a Top Gun Maverick in the Best Picture nomination, something I would not have imagined about 20 years ago, right? I mean, Avatar, yes, but Top Gun, maybe not. So it's becoming less and less snooty. It's becoming a little more inclusive, even within American mainstream cinema. And of course, it's becoming a lot more colors than just white. So I really hope more people watched it this year than they have in the past.
Right, Mayank, apparently Spielberg told Tom Cruise that, Tom, you just saved the industry with Top Gun Maverick, because the biggest hit post-pandemic in Hollywood, beg my pardon, in Hollywood was Top Gun, making billions of dollars, not even in millions of dollars. So say what RRR did to the Indian film industry right out of the pandemic, bringing everybody to the theater. Top Gun did it to Hollywood, and that's the reason why they've sort of doffed their hat by giving a couple of nominations and one award to Top Gun, from what I can understand. But now that we're discussing more than India at the Oscars, I'm going to stick with that discussion. Kabir has started it, so I'm going to ask a lot of again political messages in terms of the winners. You have an Asian woman winning an Oscar for Best Actress, Michelle Yeoh. Widely expected that Cate Blanchett would be winning for Tar. Widely expected that a film like Banshees of Inisherin or even an Avatar might win the Best Film, but it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Not many
people quite literally bagged everything
everywhere all at once. It bagged everything. Now here's the deal, Mayank, not many people know that Everything Everywhere All at Once is not a big studio production in Hollywood. It's an independent production made at a small budget of $20 million that went on to rake in over $100 million in the box office. So it was another kind of triumph at the Oscars with Everything Everywhere All at Once. That film, which is currently in theaters in India, on OTT streaming platforms simultaneously, a huge crowd favorite in North America, box office, a smash. A veteran actress like Michelle Yeoh, an entire cast.
Bagging the Best Director, the Best Actress, the Best Editing, Best Original Screenplay.
Supporting actor, supporting
both
actress.
Male, female, both supporting actors.
All of it. Mayank, that's a story in itself, isn't it? The fact that Everything Everywhere All at Once did what it did at the Oscars.
No, 100%. In fact, if you think about it, it seems rather impossible that a film of this nature would even get funding with the kind of lead stars that there are in the movie and the concept itself. Funding, greenlighting would be impossible 10 years ago. That tells you how much the world has changed, how much the Academy Awards are reflecting that change. And to the best of my knowledge, this may be the first absurdist film to win that many Oscars, or in fact to win the Best Picture and the Best Director. It's not just straight and simple narrative cinema. It's doing things. It's making you think, and it's also making you think how stupid it is if you don't, follow the story. If the penny doesn't drop, you might just leave thinking, "What did I just watch? It's idiotic, right?" But no, it does things. It's emotional at the same time. It makes you think about these people and their lives, and think about what life can be and cannot be, and multiple verses, multiverses as it were, in this movie. So yeah, nobody could have predicted this. You can't plan this in any case, and it's a very RRR effect in that sense, right? It's also reflecting diversity.
I was watching that movie, Mayank. Some of the stunt sequences seemed like, they wanted to do that Indian version of a common man suddenly becoming all like, kung fu fighting experts. It really felt like to me, I come from Chennai, it really felt like a Tamil film, high concept with the same stunts meant to entertain the people, and clearly they've been entertained. They've given that. The other film I want to talk about, the other big winner, is the All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a classic which was originally set in Germany about a German soldier. Was always made in the English language. For the first time ever, it got made in the German language. A movie on First World War, which is the second biggest winner apart from Everything Everywhere All at Once. It won the Best International Feature, Best Production Design, Best Background Score, 4 to 5 Oscars. Huge
Best
message.
Cinematography.
And Best Cinematography. Huge, acclaim for a film like All Quiet on the Western Front, Mayank.
No, absolutely. I think if in 1917, the war,
right,
another great World War I film hadn't literally swept the Oscars, I think All Quiet on the Western Front would have got even more. There is a repetition here in terms of the setting, in terms of the point of those films, deeply anti-war films that tells you the side of loss, that tells you the opposite side of bravado, that tells you what humans are capable of and how we destroy with war. There's nothing great about war, and maybe we should have a film of this nature every year. To make a connection. There was the NAATU NAATU, when we saw the song on the Oscar stage, they replicated Zelensky's palace, which is where they had shot the original song in the film as well. And there's a country at war right now, so maybe that message will never be irrelevant. But yes, again, kudos to Netflix for backing this production, to taking it all the way, to showing war from the German side, something that we don't usually see, because now it's possible. Now that whole stranglehold of the Hollywood system that we put in big monies only in American productions, seeing the world only through an American prism, that's gone. And we are seeing that again and again. And isn't that fascinating? It was a lovely film. For those who haven't seen it, they can catch it on Netflix now.
Absolutely. You know what? My favorite part is from Mr. Bean on holiday, with the behind the scenes of that war film shooting. That really does it for me when it comes to war movies. But Mayank, thank you so much for joining with us and helping us out with your insights. It certainly is a big, big day.
Absolutely.
We spoke about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once as well, Krishna. Let's quickly play out those reactions by the supporting cast, by Michelle Yeoh. And the director Daniel Kwan as well. Some really hard-hitting messages coming from all those three people out there as well. We'll quickly take a look at those reactions and come back for a quick chit chat with Praveen Gandhi, who's waiting right on the other side.
Goes to Michelle Yeoh.
As a child, Michelle Yeoh studied to become a ballet dancer, and despite her illustrious career in action films, has no...
For all the little boys and girls who look like me watching tonight, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities. This is proof that dreams dream big and dreams do come true. And ladies, don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime. Never give up.
My mom is 84 years old, and she's at home watching. Mom, I just want an Oscar. My journey started on a boat. I spent a year in a refugee camp. And somehow, I ended up here on Hollywood's biggest stage.
We are all products of our context. We are all descendants of something and someone, and I want to acknowledge my context, my immigrant parents, and lastly, I just want to go back to my original point. There is greatness in every single person. It doesn't matter who they are. You have a genius that is waiting to erupt. You just need to find the right people to unlock that. Thank you so much to everyone who has unlocked my genius. This means so much to us. Thank you to the Academy.
So everything, everywhere, all at once. But for once, for a little while, let's circle back to our Indian nominations. 2 out of 3. And like Kasturi Shankar, an actor and activist who was on our show, I'd like to reiterate that beautiful point that it's actually not 2 by 3. It's a 3-on-3 win for India. Just a nomination by All That Breathes that came just a close second to Nivalni, which is also a politically motivated storyline given at a time when the Ukraine war is already on. Is certainly something one needs to tread carefully on. Praveen Gandhi, film director and producer, thank you so much for patiently waiting. We're sorry to keep you on hold over there. Krishna, would you like to pick Praveen ji's brains over there?
Yeah, Praveen ji, Praveen Kant, this is Krishna over here. There was a time in India when we used to make jokes about Oscars. As if it's an Oscar-worthy film. As if they're going to go win the Oscar. It's not a joke anymore. You can't joke about these things. RRR and NAATU NAATU have just turned around and said, please don't joke, be a little serious, work hard and you'll get there.
Yeah. First, I want to appreciate the elephant, that movie, Whisperer.
Elephant Whisperers.
Elephant Whisperer. I want to.
He meant the elephant in the room. He wants to appreciate the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we keep talking about NAATU NAATU all the time. Let's begin with the elephant in the room, which is the Elephant Whisperers. Shot in Tamil Nadu is Mudumalai Forest.
Yeah,
there you go. There's a Tamil representation as well, apart from the Telugu representation at this year's Oscars. Go on. And you're from Chennai. You're Tamilian. Go on.
Yeah. Tamilan endu sollada, thalai nimirdu nillada. Meaning is, say Tamilan, be very proud front of everyone. It is the meaning of that. Tamilan endu sollada, thalai nimirdu nillada. So we are so happy, and we want to, congrats to the director and producers, as well as now Hollywood, Bollywood, Gollywood, Dollywood in India, Bollywood, Dollywood. Many everybody now is Jollywood. They are happy. Everyone is happy. This is a memorable day for Indian cinema. Everywhere, every technicians, all they are enjoying. Everyone they are feeling. They received Oscar, not Kiravani sir, not Elephant team. Everyone is feeling we received the
Oscar. We won it.
It's dream.
Indians have won it.
More than 95 years, this is dream for us. So the dream comes true because of Rajamouli sir as well as Kiravani sir. I want to thank them. They lifted our film industry, our Indian film industry. They lifted now. Now, not pan India. It's a pan world film. After this, all Indian film going to be a pan world film like that. Okay. So I want to thank them. And one more thing, I want to appreciate Rajamouli because the story concept is, the Triple R concept is against British people, against white people. In that song also, all 2 heroes, they will make fool British people. In the song sequence, made British people fool. But for that concept, they got Oscar award. Means this is really amazing. Really amazing. Really, I want to appreciate their confidence. Rajamouli confidence level, it's too high. Otherwise, nobody will enter the Oscar because the concept is against for white people, British people.
And sir, in the song also, you had the British people come and say, this is disgusting. You should not dance like this. And then the women go, no, this is the main dance. You should dance like this. And they all fall down with that dance. It's catharsis of another level.
Hats off to the team. They made India proud. India proud now. Not only
but what a great way of battle as well. Instead of swords and guns, How about we have a little dance off and let's see who really has been working on their
They
cardio.
conquered us with guns. We conquered them with dance. So to speak.
With our simple step. Okay, Praveenji, before we move on, I know everybody's tried that dance step once in a while. Have you tried that dance step? Have you tried your hand at that dance step?
You're a hero. You've acted in a movie, in Tamil movies as hero. I'm sure you had to go do dance practice.
I'm a good dancer. If you give the opportunity, I will come and dance. That much I am mad about that song movement. Very beautiful.
Sir,
I respect the
we're waiting
dance
for the
master.
Insta reel.
That particularly each and every kid also, they memorized the instrument, that movement. No, every kid's mind also readed that steps, footsteps. It is a very, very between the artist, between the dance master, between the camera, photography, choreography, all together is joined very, 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 very. It's a mixed very beautifully. You know,
right, absolutely. You know, this complex dance step, Praveenji, that you're talking about, how about we refresh the memory of the viewers and quickly play the performance at the main stage in Dolby Theatre. Let's quickly play that out for you and then we'll come back to Praveenji.
Yeah.
Look at them go. I mean,
Precisely. So, Praveenji,
no, one second. Hold on. One thing is clear, Kabir, as we've been talking about since morning. That dance step is what got people listening Naatu Naatu in the first place. Because you have these fun songs, but you have to give this much, to the choreographer. Mr. Praveen Kant knows the value of a choreographer in his song shootings. When they get it right, it becomes easier for the director after that. To get it right. Talk to us, while making this song, imagine yourself, as a director, from a director's perspective, how do you think the sync up between the choreographer and the director was so good? And the artist's willingness to practice for 3 hours every day and shoot it for multiple days, again and again and again until they get it right. That is something else altogether, isn't it, Praveen Kant?
This is a question for me.
Yes, you are the director. Yeah. Talk to us as a director directing a song like this.
And the dancer and somebody who's acted in movies
as well. Everything. As artist, director, choreographer, talk to us.
So for my point of view, both heroes, they worked from their soul. Not because of money, not because of familiar. They worked from the soul. Created by Rajamouli. I know Rajamouli working style because cameraman Sendil is very close friend of mine. Sendil will always tell me about the Rajamouli sir's working style. So Rajamouli first motivate this is not film, this is not entertain, this is like a soul preparing. We are making soul, not movie. So just you watch all their footsteps and their face, their smile, everything comes from their soul. That is the reason all over the world that soul spreaded now. I will tell you, this song going to be reached worldwide in YouTube or whatever. This is going to be a rock, like a #1 position. Might be 1 or 2, 3 years. Might be. Because that much impact is there in that song.
Yeah.
Dance choreography.
I have to ask you something, Praveen Kant. Telugu film industry is known for great song and dance sequences. Let's not forget. Even
they are very particular about songs and fight.
Yes.
They won't compromise. They will compromise many other things, but fight sequence and dance sequence, they won't compromise because their audience Telugu audience, they are very particular about song.
Yes.
It's called Kuttu song. Kuttu.
Yes.
Kuttu song.
Even Naatu Naatu is called Naatu Kuttu in Tamil. To be precise. No, so let's face it. The Telugu film industry has been doing these, song and dance numbers which looks like graphics effects. You take other junior NTR songs. You take other Ram Charan songs. They all look like some graphics effects when they are in the choreography when they are dancing. So in a sense, Telugu films have been doing it so well for so long. Both, as you said, action sequences and dance sequences. And here you have a film like RRR, which is great both in terms of action sequences and dance sequences.
Exactly.
To say the fact that this should not be a surprise for Indians following, Telugu and Tamil movies and Hindi movies all these days. It was meant to happen one day or the other. What's it, Praveen?
Yeah, even the director Rajamouli, he did one film. It's called Non-E, with
Ega. It's called in Telugu. Ega.
Non-E. So that film, he danced. He did everything. No need for even actor. With a small ant, he can do everything.
Small fly. Makhi.
Yeah,
it's called
that is director talent, Rajamouli talent. So now Rajamouli more burden now. Now previously.
How do you beat that? How do you beat that?
Yeah, because previously Rajamouli movies is expectation Telugu only, then South India, now India. Now after this movement, the total world is expectation. What is the Rajamouli next movie?
Praveen, so on that note, I have to ask you, I'm sure you saw the video of James Cameron. You saw the video of James Cameron speaking to Rajamouli. And it was two directors speaking to each other. No?
Two mega directors.
Two mega directors. But directors, they were talking as filmmakers. They were not like Hollywood, Tollywood, nothing. They were like, James Cameron asked, how long did it take to shoot this? And Rajamouli goes 325 days. And then James Cameron goes, yeah, it looks like 300 days. This must have been shot. How many units did you have? 1 unit. No second unit. This is the kind of, technical exchange that is happening between filmmakers. I mean, as a filmmaker in Indian film industry, you must have faced all the struggles, how difficult it is to come up with a story, tell the distributor, producer, make a movie, make it into a hit, make it into at least one state hit and then taking it to another state for dubbing itself is very difficult.
Global hit.
And now look at where it's gone. It's incredible, isn't it, from how much things have changed within the Indian film industry.
Actually, Rajamouli family, they are very responsible for all those things. Actually, in their family, music director is there, writer is there, costume design is there, production executive, all the more than 20 people are there. So they are preparing everything before they comes shooting spot. They are planning everything on paper. Not only on paper, the 20 members are there, in family. 20 members. In their mind, they are running. Though this is the shot, this is the trolley, this is the movement, this is the everything. They are planning. So 220 soul working in that spot. Not man, not technician. I'm telling, if you are working from your soul only, you will get big success, big celebration, response.
Yeah.
Rajamouli family, totally they are sacrificed their life for cinema. Because of that only, they are doing these kind of wonder and magic. This is magic, absolutely. This is magic.
I'll try and showcase the level of success. Usually what happens, Krishna, is that when your award acceptance speech goes on for too long, you're usually buzzed off the stage. There's a voice that comes off. You're escorted off stage. This time around, this is what Jimmy Kimmel said, and I'm going to ask my producer to put that up. What Jimmy Kimmel says is that this time around, you're not going to be buzzed off the stage. You are actually going to be danced off the stage, and how and in what manner? Take a look. Take a look at this next.
Speech goes on too long. This year we're not going to play you off stage. Instead, we have a group of performers from the movie RRR who are going to dance you off stage. If you go too long, we're going to Bollywood gong show your ass. So let's get this going. Please welcome our first presenters of the night, Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt.
Well, I'm not too sure what Jimmy Kimmel said over there. Is he talking about the Bollywood gamcha that he is talking to bring out?
I don't know, but from that moment, Kabir, you've been talking about it since morning. Praveen, even before NAATU NAATU won the Oscar, it sort of lit the stage up right at the beginning.
Twice.
First was this, when Jimmy Kimmel was talking about a dance-off of NAATU NAATU step, people being pushed off the stage, NAATU NAATU step. Second is when the song was performed on stage by the same Telugu singers, Rahul Sipliganj and Kala Bhairava, the two Telugu singers who sang it on stage for a performance that the entire Dolby Theatre auditorium in Hollywood stood up and gave a standing ovation, because That's the kind of electricity. You know, Praveen, every year there's 5 songs which are performed for best song. Not every song, not even the winning song gets, standing ovation. This one, even before it won the standing ovation. It felt as if it felt as if the award was just a formality after a point.
So the entire auditorium basically got up, rose up to join their hands, clap in honor of RRR, pretty much 3 times over the entire night.
Exactly, thrice.
But then again, let's also circle back, because I really want to know what Praveenji's thoughts are about the women in the industry right now, and not just Indian women. Of course, the Elephant Whisperers is going to go a long way in terms of bringing the indigenous voice and basically just the voice for the voiceless out there through the medium of film. But tell us about the women in film. Have you seen a change? Have you seen a transformation about what the yesterdays were like and how it is
because
right now?
We have 2 women who are backing our non-fiction documentary project, a short documentary project, and they have come and delivered the biggest message on their stage. 1.4 billion people in India, 2 women bringing the story of people that is not told, on the world stage and winning an Oscar. That has to be important from your eyes as a filmmaker, Praveen.
Actually, I want to tell why Telugu industry songs are so interesting these days. Usually all the heroes, they will go for workout. Gym only they will go regularly, all the heroes. But Telugu heroes, whenever they are getting time, they will go for dance class. Dance class. Even Allu Arjun, all the heroes, Pushpa hero, Allu Arjun, whenever he gets the time, he will go for dance. They will create new movement for, they don't know when the shooting will start, which movie, they don't know anything. But idea wise, they will create new dance movement they will create. They will fix, okay, this is very good. In future, after 2 years, we can use this movement. That much they are loving dance and a fight sequence also. But they are very particular about music and dance.
Praveen, one more thing, that we were discussing NAATU NAATU as well, but right now we just want to touch upon the Elephant Whisperers again. India is famous for filmmaking, fun film, commercial film, pakka commercial, art film, everything. Yeah. But India's name is not known in the world for documentaries. And we've seen several Indian films getting nominated every year. Not the first time an Indian documentary is invented. But this time around, you have an Indian documentary which won the first Oscar for an Indian production, even before NAATU NAATU. By a matter of a few minutes, of course. But the first Indian production to win an Oscar is not NAATU NAATU or RRR. It's the Elephant Whisperers, shot in the Mudumalai forest, of Tamil Nadu. The fact that it was produced by a woman, it was directed by a woman, it's an all-woman effort.
The actual roar is actually, the roar with the triple R is actually our women at the biggest stage in Hollywood. Your thoughts on that?
As a filmmaker, you have assistant directors who are women, I'm sure. So,
as a technician, now previously as a cinema audience, I'm so happy, got triple R award, Oscar award for music. As a technician, as a filmy man, I am so happy to got the award for documentary which shot in the elephant life, and what is the relation between the animal and the human,
Right.
So this is the new crown for Indian cinema. Indian cinema, this is the new crown. Elephant, that movie award is new crown for Indian cinema, because Iranian film only previously they created the sensational, continuously they will get award for Iranian film. In Asia side, Iranian is the best, these kind of creations. Now, India has entered proudly for documentary. So just I am from this movement, actually, in Tamil Nadu or Andhra, wherever you go,
right,
all the producers, they want to invest the money. If you show the success only, they will invest the money. Otherwise, they won't invest the money.
That's actually a good point, Praveenji. We're at a short, at a paucity of time here. Let's also quickly take a look at what Kartiki Gonzalez, the director for the Elephant Whisperers. Let's quickly take a look at that particular reaction, and we'll quickly wrap the show up. And at the same time, whilst we're playing that particular reaction for you, Kartiki Gonzalez, another one of those 2 women who ended up bagging the first ever Oscar for India when it comes to a film per se, a docu-series, voices of the indigenous people and of course the animals as well. That reaction coming up on your television screens next.
And the other thing is 100% passion. I didn't realize I was going to be 6 years working on this documentary, and that's the only thing that made me get up every single day and do it. It was the passion that I had for the baby elephants, for the entire subject, for coexistence, and literally putting this message out to the entire world. That's the only thing that kept me going.
Well, Praveen Gandhi ji, many thanks for joining with us and helping us out with your particular
Thank you,
insight.
Praveen, sir.
It is like you
Last
mentioned.
Last one word. 4 days back, Women's Day.
Right. This is real Women's Day.
The Oscar award goes to, it's supposed to, they received 4 days back.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Praveen ji said, Bollywood, Tollywood, all sorts of words. The best thing to say, the best description is that India today is Jollywood. One name that we absolutely forgot to take in the middle of all of this, India cacophony is of course that of Brendan Fraser's, his resurgence as he picks up the Best Actors Award for the movie Whale. But we're at a short of time. We're going to wrap this up. A lot of things happened. You had the long hot dog fingernails. You had a fake bear on stage when it came to the VFX. We'll leave you with a clip of all the latest highlights of all the nice funny things that we saw at this year's telecast. We're going to catch you real soon. Keep watching News 9.
Not only is Jenny an actor, she's a certified emotional support donkey.
Hit the mark. Thank you. Oh my God, he tripped me. Without visual effects, this is what the bear would look like. It's terrifying.